How many of you do one thing at a time? Meaning, you're watching TV, and you're just watching TV. You're doing work, and you're just doing work. You're cooking, you're just cooking. You're talking to your family, and you're just talking to your family. Anyone? No. Okay, why is that? Why is that?
There's so much to consume.
Okay, so much to consume, absolutely. There are so many things vying for our attention. Hey everybody, welcome to Finding the Upside. So happy to have you here with me today. I have a super amazing episode special, bringing another excerpt from the Revive and Thrive Empowerment Summit that was held in June here in New Jersey. This is an annual event, and there'll be another one next year, so stay tuned or look in the show notes for more information about next year's event. This episode today, we are talking about communication, and what I am talking about is communicating in today's over-connected, overstimulated digital world. Oh my God, are we not bombarded by so many messages, stimuli, information, images all day long? Yes, you know that. But what I am talking about here is some basic communication concepts and how that condition of all of this information overload and all of these platforms that we are being bombarded with all day long is impacting our ability to communicate. Now, communication can be tricky even without that. And I talk about that. But also, this kind of brings into this layer of this new modern world that we're in and all the things that can impact our ability to really communicate. Now, this episode is going to show you a couple things. It's going to share with you kind of some misunderstanding maybe about how we communicate and how that's changed over the years and when it might fail. So you're going to hear about communication and some of the things that can interfere with our ability to really communicate in today's world. And so, without further ado, let's start and let's get into this episode. All right, so I am wanting to talk to you about communicating in the over-connected digital age. First of all, let me ask some questions. How many of you do one thing at a time? Meaning, you're watching TV, and you're just watching TV. You're doing work, and you're just doing work. You're cooking, you're just cooking. You're talking to your family, and you're just talking to your family. Anyone? No. Okay, why is that? Why is that?
There's so much to consume.
Okay, so much to consume, absolutely. There are so many things vying for our attention. So communication and communicating is a learned skill as it is, but now, in this age, with all of these stimuli and all of these pieces of information coming at us, and us with the lack of control, like, I don't know about you, but I'll share here, you all didn't raise your hand and say you did one thing at a time. I'm watching TV, like purposely sitting down to watch a program, and then I pick up my phone, email pops up, check the email, then social media, let me go, what am I doing? Right? Then, even on the TV, and even if you don't watch TV, you stream. Years ago, for those of you who weren't born, 30 years ago, you could just watch something. Now, you got the promo in the corner popping up, the little thing running across the screen. Even if you're on YouTube, the ads come up, and then it's like, okay, here's this promo, subscribe, click, this, that. The news has the thing on the top, the thing on the bottom. My God. And then you have the people who say, go ahead, talk to me. I could do two things at once. Okay. So it's even more challenging in this age with so many things vying for our attention, fighting for our attention, that it's even harder to keep yourself focused on one thing. So just know that, right? Know that awareness that we have to take bring the awareness to that and know that and have to take the steps to control that because it interferes with our ability to, number one, think, but number two, communicate. So I could talk a lot about this. I talk about this in many different areas. Communication is a big topic. But I'm going to just focus on a couple things here and give you some food for thought. Oh, I don't have the clicker. Where is the clicker? I got it. All right. So I want to ask a question. I also, since we're talking about the overconnected digital age and today, think about how you communicate, right? What are different ways that you communicate? Meaning, I can talk to someone. What are other ways to communicate nowadays? Text, email, voice notes. Okay, that's good. So you get the phone, right? Face-to-face, video conference, which is kind of face-to-face. Okay. If you think about how you communicate, what percentage do you think the words account for how we communicate? Not you personally, just this is communication concepts and principles. Very little? Okay. Anybody want to guess a number? What percentage of how we communicate do words? 20%. 20%? Who? 7? Did you look at my slides? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take you through this and I'm going to tell you about some of the context with this because this is important. 7% of how we communicate is based on spoken word. So where is that in text? Nowhere, right? Right? We're just relying, or what does that mean? We're just relying on the words in text. Has anybody ever had a text misinterpreted? Has anybody had an email misinterpreted? That's why. Now, there are some people, this is Dr. Albert I always say his name wrong, Mehrabian, his 7-38-55 rule, which means that 38% of the way we communicate is voice tone and 55% is body language. And here's why. Because I can say the same thing without voice tone or body language. Obviously, we get it. If you see my body language, you can see if it matches what I'm saying, right? But if I send you a text or an email and I say, hi, I need those reports right away. It's really important that I get them. I really appreciate your help with this. Thank you. I can read it like that as the receiver with that tone, or I can read it as, hi, I really need those reports. I really appreciate if you could get it to me immediately. Thank you. You're missing the voice tone, and you're missing my body language in a text or an email. So some people today take issue with this. There's some guy this is wrong. It depends on the context. In the example I just gave you, this context applies, and that's the point. That's the point. Body language we don't always have on the phone, people could argue, right, which is 55%. But if you've ever called a friend when you don't feel good or something is going on and they say immediately, what's wrong? Body language sets the voice tone. Or like in my customer service days, I'd say to my reps, you can't lay on the desk and pick up the phone because it comes through. It's a really annoying thing. People say, smile before you pick up the phone. It works because the body language sets the voice tone. So it's important to consider this in this age because are we going to just say, Email, get rid of that. Doesn't work. Text, get rid of that. It doesn't work. No, but we have to take this into consideration because there are times that we are not able to communicate effectively if we're only depending on the words. We're just missing too much. So lots of other things can happen in communication. Lots of distortions can happen, agendas, feelings, past history, all kinds of stuff. But this is a critical element to even keep top of mind just as you go about not only your business and your work, but just with your family, friends, and understanding picking the right mode. Because sometimes a text, you ever have that? You text back and forth, you're like, Jesus, let me just pick up the phone because it will be so much quicker because I can get my point across. And I know that's like a lost thing. Nobody wants to talk on the phone or nobody picks up the phone. But we've got to find a way to navigate that because that's also vying for our attention. I've spent 7 text responses where it would have been really clear and not misunderstood if it was a conversation, and that's happened many times. Any questions or thoughts on this before we go into our demonstration? All right, I need 2 volunteers from the audience. Cassie, okay. That's number 1. Number 2? Oh, yeah, come. Be quiet. You're not to say anything about what you have in front of you. But the audience can see. Okay. My microphone just fell off. Okay. Okay. So in this bag, none of you can give clues. We have a very special top secret model. Okay. Okay. So what the heck am I doing? What I'm doing is this experiment is going to show how well communication works, that you're going to describe to Lisa how to recreate this with the material she has. She has all of these materials. You can know that, okay? And she has scissors. Just tape, of course. Okay, so you have to give her explicit instructions to tell her step by step what to do so she could recreate that. Ready? Okay. Go ahead.
And then take another cup the right way up and set it on top of that. And tape them together just like that.
And I can't ask questions, right? I just need to do
You
it.
can.
Which kind of tape, Miss Cassie?
Is there more than one kind of tape? Masking tape.
Okay.
There's more than one.
Oh.
Put like one piece on each side so that
You won't need this.
Wrap it around with you or wrap it
you
down?
can just use a piece on each side going up and down. The bottom cup is upside down, the top cup is right side up, and there's one piece of tape on each side holding them together. Now you're going to take one of the paper plates and cut out the whole bottom part. So all that's left is the rim of the paper plate.
This is dangerous.
You signed a release.
That's it. I'm gonna be close to I'm not gonna worry about perfection. The best part locked up the right and say, "Where's the next masterpiece?" I have no clue what's next.
Did you cut that?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, all right, set that down for 1 minute.
Okay.
And now grab 4 straws. I don't know if the color matter, but if they do.
Does the color matter?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
There will be 2 purple, 1 peach, and 1 green.
Okay. All right.
And near the base of the cup that's upside down, around it, you're going to tape 1 of each of those. So there'll be basically 1 at 12 o'clock, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock. Going around, like coming up from the bottom of the cup. And use 1 piece of masking tape to secure it at the bottom of each.
So, does it, what, let's start with the first color we start with, Miss Cassie.
Okay, so take a purple straw.
Got it.
And then right in front of you, tape the bottom to the bottom of the cup.
Okay,
So it's just maybe half an inch from the base of it.
okay.
And it's sticking up, but
Okay.
only secured by the little piece of tape at the bottom.
So is it completely whole, the straw?
Yes, it's a whole straw with the bendy part up at the top.
Ah, okay. All right, I think I got it. So we're gonna start with the purple. And it's taped an inch up. Is that what you said? With
Yeah,
the-
like have the bottom of the base of the straw about an inch up from the bottom, which is actually the top of the cup because it's upside down.
Got it. Okay, we're close enough.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, and then you're gonna do the same thing with the other purple straw
okay,
to the right, so at your 3 o'clock.
okay. So that would have been my 6
Yep,
first. Okay,
and this one also, the bendy part at the top.
okay,
Secure it at the base, again, about half an inch
Okay.
up from the bottom.
all right.
And then at the 9 o'clock, you're gonna use the orangey peach one, but you're gonna put this one upside down.
Upside down, orangey peach. Got it.
And then at 12 o'clock, you'll have the green one, and that one will also be, so the bendy is towards the top.
Okay. I take directions well, hopefully. Okay, next.
Now you're gonna take the plate that you cut out the entire like center of,
Uh-huh,
so it should just be the rim of that plate, and you're gonna place it over the top,
okay,
and then have it about 1/3 of the way down, and then you're gonna secure it to those straws.
okay.
Oh boy! So it's
I
going.
already see this going sideways, but okay, perfect. We'll figure it out. We will
So
get this.
all the straws are inside of the opening of the plate.
Oh, inside, okay,
Yeah.
well, we can probably do that. Let's do this then.
Yeah,
Let's
the
put it
plate
the
is
way
going, the opening is going over the cups and over the 4 straws.
It's a good thing I can ask questions. So there is this piece of it, right? Where can you imagine if I wasn't able to ask questions? Woo. My straws are getting a little sideways. Kind of feel like that's me too. Upside down or right side up for the plate?
Right side up.
Okay,
You got that?
sure.
Maybe. All right, now take another paper plate and just cut out just enough so it fits over the top of the top cup.
Fits over the top. Oh, so like inside?
Yeah, so like the mouth of the cup goes inside the,
Oh, shit.
they're laughing, Lisa, I don't feel too confident about this.
I'm obviously trying to take shortcuts. I forgot how much I loved arts and crafts class in preschool. Thank you, Cassie.
Glad to help.
And it's supposed to go over the top of it, right? for the
You
most part.
set it over the top so it's like as if it's sitting on top like a normal plate would be, but there's a hole in it, so it's going over the
It's,
top of the mouth of the cup.
We're gonna be close. Okay.
And then take another plate and set it upside down on top of it, and then tape that into place
On
3
top of the
times,
rim.
right around the rims. Secure it in 3 spots.
In 3 spots.
Yes. If it's supposed to be exact 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and 10 o'clock.
7. Close enough. 10. I feel like I made the Seattle Space Needle. All right. Okay.
I think that's it then.
Okay. Okay. You ready to see?
I'm ready, I think.
Okay. The big reveal. We were close.
that was not bad. We did okay.
We were close. Okay. Yeah, we were close.
So, I have to say, Cassie, I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
I am too.
It usually doesn't go that well.
I think this is why I got to ask questions. So
Yeah,
I
but-
have to say, I've done this before with Legos, and it's terrifying when you're not able to ask any questions. So you gave me some safety, knowing that I could ask questions.
Okay, so fair point from a communication standpoint, but I've done this hundreds of times and it's never this close. So it's great that you were able to ask questions. So that's a takeaway, right? Got to be able to ask questions. Can't ask questions, can't get clarity,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Your directions, I mean, what do you all think? Very specific, really specific. And there's only one thing you did incorrectly.
Yeah, it's not low enough.
No.
This part isn't low enough, right?
Yes, you
Oh,
attached it
it's on
there.
top,
You
yeah.
attach it there, and then what she did was she cut out just this like centerpiece of the plate and put it on top, like the smallest thing on top of there. See it? See it?
Yeah. No, it was good, like,
But it was
I
good.
asked her, like, what color do we start with? Because I didn't know what to do next. I didn't know what to do with all the colors.
But she didn't give that direction,
Right.
and then you asked the question, and then she got that. You got that clarity because you asked the question. Communication.
Yeah.
Okay, so how was that for you?
It was fun. I think, like, thinking of this, I've done this before a lot of times in work, in our work business, and they set you up for failure, I feel like. If I could have had these things to talk about, like, it's not about you, it's not like that, like, you're okay just the way you are, you have safety if it doesn't look exactly right, instead of like an I got you situation, then I probably wouldn't have had so much stress about it. But like doing this, as soon as you got that stuff out,
As soon as she got this stuff out, I was like, oh, I know this one and I hate this one. And then I was like, no, I don't. I love this because it doesn't matter if it's exactly the same, right? It's going to have a purpose. It's going to have a point. It's going to be valuable. And so I was like, I didn't have the stressor of being perfect going into it.
Well, that's good, but the whole point of this is to learn as you go, not create the most perfect thing, right? Because sometimes it's very different. And then it's like, what was missing? Lack of specificity. I didn't ask the right questions, right? It's a two-way thing. And how did it make you feel, though, that you couldn't direct her with body language or that you couldn't see? Talk to me about that.
I don't think I mind that I couldn't see because you told me I could ask questions.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I need to ask better questions about what it is she's saying so I can be in the same frame of reference with her. So that was okay. But it was like you want to perform. Like, so when you're thinking about that, you know, like the communication piece, like it is a two-way streak. It is this like it back and forth and this, I'm watching for her to give me, you know, verbal cues like, oh yeah, you're on the right track. Or she couldn't do that because
Yeah.
she couldn't see me.
There was no
When-
like ability to see to encourage that they're on the right track. So you just had to kind of trust that what you're doing was right, and there was no eye contact, so it made it a little harder for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the point? What's the point? What's the takeaway? You tell me. You guys participated, and then I'll ask.
Like it is about this interaction. Like all of our communication and all of our connections are about. Oh. All of our communications and are about this connection, right? This piece where we have this back and forth, this dialogue, this interaction, this and almost like this energy. Because if I was doing it wrong, I could probably feel her, you know, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't gauge it. I couldn't, and not change what I did, but I couldn't work to get to the right solution without that interaction. Yeah. Didn't have the tone. I didn't have, when she kind of giggled and she's like, okay, I know what you need more. I was like, okay, we're getting more in tune, right? I could hear those encouragers in her tone.
Oh, she's got a microphone.
She got a microphone.
You take away?
I tell you, just how much you have to like accumulate, like have the verbal, have the physical, have everything together, because that dynamic in all of it is what makes communication what it needs to be.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I think, as I said, kudos to you, because your directions were super specific. That normally doesn't happen. So it's like you were like, cut it here. She misinterpreted that part, but everything else she got, but you were super specific, and normally people aren't. So the question is, and the takeaway is how often are we not specific enough in what we say? A. B, how often do we not have clarity and we don't ask questions to get that clarity? That's B. And C, what we talked about at the start of this, how much is all the distraction and information overload? You were focused just on this task. What if the phone was ringing? You were looking at your phone. You were looking at your computer. There were messages coming at you. Somebody going, like Liana to me, like, right? Like, then that adds another layer of complication on this. And that would absolutely impacted the clarity and the exchange. So any questions or takeaways from the audience? Yes, Mary Jean. She's going to.
Another takeaway.
Yeah.
You had the benefit of comparing both objects at the end to see how well you understood each other. A lot of times we leave a discussion or a meeting and we don't have two interesting sculptures to compare. So how do we confirm that we actually both understood each other and got our point across?
Great.
So that would be another
point.
takeaway for me.
Great point. And I mean, obviously in communication sense, right? That's where like we talk about paraphrasing and like confirming, paraphrasing what was said, getting confirmation. But also I think another takeaway that I'll add on to you is the visual of comparing it. It's like, and I'm talking about in work, but it also could be in personal, like that confirmation, but it's like that after review. Okay, how did it go? Okay, what could we do better? Okay, what didn't we understand? Okay, next time let's do this. I think that's a great takeaway as well. Anyone else? All right, thank you for volunteering.